not to include me and not to, you know, make sure I'm not on stage and make sure that, what are they afraid that I'm going to sock Dana in the nose? I mean, of course I'm going to be there. Of course I'm going to be promoting it. Ryan Garcia, everybody knows he's my fighter. So he's under Golden Boy. So, we're looking forward to a big, massive event. I believe the other day, Turkey Al Sheikh or Turkey said that $6+ million have already been sold. So yeah, it's going to be a big event. So I'm really looking forward to be part of it.
I think Conor's always going to be competitive. You know, he trains really hard. He's got a lot of heart. I don't like him at 147 pounds now because that was one of the problems in going to 160 to fight Eubank. To come back to 140, it's a really tough thing to do. And I think when he fought Prograis, was it 151 or 150? Like, he just didn't look the same. He looked like he was lacking power, didn't look that strong. And Ryan Garcia is a guy who's kind of built his way up to 147. He's super fit and good.
Oscar states clearly that he is not going to punch anyone, but he insists that they should stop being petty. He reaffirms that he will be front and center during the promotion of the fight, fully involved in press conferences and weigh-ins to ensure the event is a success.
Obviously, I'm not gonna punch anybody, but they're trying to keep everything from me, and we all know Ryan Garcia is a Golden Boy fighter, and this is the Golden Boy event, and this is a Zuffa event because Turkey bought the event and he included Zuffa because obviously Conor is a Zuffa fighter now, and so yeah, let's all work together, and everything will be fine. Don't be afraid.
Oscar explains that they are both committed to ensuring the upcoming event is a success, that Ryan receives the treatment he deserves, and that he is properly prepared to face Conor Benn. He says they are working together to make sure Ryan is ready to take the throne and perform at his best during the fight.
We had a talk the other day. It's great. It's good. We had a discussion the other day, and I know he said a couple of things on your show and this and that, but we talked to each other. Everything's great. We're gonna make sure that this event is big. We're gonna make sure that Ryan gets what he deserves, that he's treated the way he deserves, and just make sure that he's ready and prepared to go up and take the throne from Conor Benn. I mean, he has no throne, but I'm saying, make sure that he goes out there 100% and beats Conor Benn.
So that's interesting.
Hearn describes Garcia as a world-class fighter who is super fit and well accustomed to the 147-pound weight class, making him a dangerous opponent for Benn, and about Benn competing at the 147-pound weight limit. He explains that Benn's previous move to 160 pounds to fight Eubank made it difficult to drop back down, noting that in his fight against Prograis, Benn seemed to lack power and strength.
I think Conor's always going to be competitive. You know, he trains really hard. He's got a lot of heart. I don't like him at 147 pounds now because that was one of the problems in going to 160 to fight Eubank. To come back to 140, it's a really tough thing to do. And I think when he fought Prograis, was it 151 or 150? Like, he just didn't look the same. He looked like he was lacking power, didn't look that strong. And Ryan Garcia is a guy who's kind of built his way up to 147. He's super fit and good at the weight at 147. And he's a world-class fighter who punches very, very hard and is very sharp. So Conor's always going to be in the fight because he's got a lot of heart, but I don't see him winning that fight at 147. I think his better weight will be up towards 154. I don't think middleweight's his weight either, but I think he'll find it really tough to make that weight, and I don't think he'll feel physically where he needs to be. But listen, even with everything that's gone on, he's a British fighter.
Oscar expects a massive turnout, predicting that around 20,000 British fans will travel to Las Vegas for Fight Week to support Conor Benn. He also expresses pride in having positioned Ryan Garcia to take over the September date, which he notes is a highly significant and important spot in the boxing calendar.
Right.
Well, towards this fight, it's going to be massive. Obviously, I would say about 20,000 Brits will probably come over to the U.S., to Las Vegas on Fight Week. Reminds me of when I promoted Floyd Mayweather versus Ricky Hatton back in the day. We had about 60,000 Brits who flew over to participate in the activities, and it was such a special event. So I kind of have that feeling now. I think about 20,000 Brits will come over and wanna support their very own and Conor Benn. It's gonna be a massive event, but look, I feel that this event is going to be a special one. The fact that Ryan Garcia, we've positioned him to take over the September date, which is very important in boxing. And I'm very glad that Ryan Garcia now has the throne.
Hearn highlights that the Garcia vs. Benn event is a ring card event and not an exclusive Zuffa production, despite how it was initially perceived. He also notes that Oscar de la Hoya is co-promoting the event, which adds another layer to the complex promotional dynamics.
Arrogant. They just walked. We're not. Do you think they wanted? Do you think they wanted that fight to be on DAZN? Dana White just slagged DAZN 4 weeks ago. Now he's having to promote a fight on it. And guess what? It ain't even a Zuffa show. It's a ring card. So like all the excuses where they go, oh, those ring cards, they're not Eddie Hearn shows. So now, what's this, Dana? Is this not a Zuffa show? And guess what? Oscar de la Hoya is co-promoting it. I mean, you can't make it up. DAZN and Oscar de la Hoya have completely run rings around Zuffa. Oscar de la Hoya has had Dana White's pants down. And now Dana White's got to sit up on the stage, on the dais, with Oscar de la Hoya next to him, promoting this event. Live on DAZN, in what I think the biggest market for this fight, the UK and Ireland.
Do you think
Tim Bradley raises critical questions regarding the testing protocols for this fight, emphasizing the importance of rigorous, VADA standard testing given both fighters' past history.
That's one.
Right.
Okay. Why do you say who?
Because I think it's very important, because I think that VADA has the most extensive drug testing in boxing, right?
Yeah.
They
Correct.
test far beyond anyone else. So I don't know. Ryan in the past has always said he doesn't like VADA. You know, Victor Conte's no longer here, so that's the reason why. And then on top of that, both these guys have tested positive for performance enhancement drugs. So I'm saying to myself, is there going to be testing for this specific fight? For this fight here?
Ben got caught
right?
too?
Supposed to be eggs or something like that.
I heard.
or-
It's a lot of dirt in this fight.
Max Kellerman adds context, noting that historically, fighters who insisted on USADA over VADA faced scrutiny because USADA was significantly more expensive and perceived by some as less likely to catch prohibited substances.
Tim is saying, back in the day, I don't know what USADA's policy is now, but back in the day, if you heard a fighter, like USADA was something like 10 times as expensive as VADA, and they never seemed to catch anyone. Right?
Yeah.
If they like they had all these rules, you could kind of get around it. But VADA would catch guys and cancel fights and stuff, right? And so when you heard a fighter insist on USADA instead of VADA, it seemed as though it seemed as though it seemed as though they were paying to avoid a rigorous drug testing protocol, right?
It was the appearance.
It was the appearance of that they would spend 10 times as much to use the service that didn't seem to catch anyone. So that's what Tim is referring to by who is testing for the fight.
Oscar de la Hoya discusses his view on the potential Devin Haney fight compared to the Ryan Garcia vs. Conor Benn event. He acknowledges that a Haney fight would be much bigger due to the associated controversy, animosity, and drama involving Haney's father. However, he notes that while the Haney fight would be larger in scale, he is unsure if it would necessarily be a better fight, as he considers Conor Benn to be an action-packed fighter.
No. And everybody will agree with me. The Haney fight obviously is much bigger. There's a lot of controversy. There's a lot of animosity. Imagine with the father and Devin Haney, and I mean, it would be massive. It would literally be bigger than this. I would assume people would agree with me, but will it be a better fight? I don't know. Conor Benn is an amazing fighter. He's an action-packed fighter. So my sentiment towards it in the beginning was, yeah, the Haney fight will be bigger.
Did you guys try?
Eddie Hearn discusses Conor Benn's rise to the #1 spot in the WBC rankings. He explains that this achievement was largely due to the work done by Matchroom to position their fighter, noting that while it involved a formal process, it was definitely an inflated rise up the rankings.
I think the move to #1 was it was a lucky move, but it was definitely an inflated rise up the rankings. But sometimes you got to look at everybody else, what they're doing, and that was a WBC decision. And obviously it's the reason. Well, look, this isn't a mandatory fight, I don't think, whether they call it that or not. But the other fascinating position is obviously that Maurizio Sulaiman and the WBC are involved in a ring card that is co-promoted by Oscar de la Hoya and Zuffa Boxing. So you've got a Zuffa fighter again fighting for his dream of the WBC title, which is an interesting dynamic.
Oscar specifically criticizes their marketing of the Ryan Garcia fight, noting that the promotional material describes it as a World Welterweight Championship without mentioning the WBC. Oscar asserts that this is an intentional attempt to deceive the public and promote their own Unicorn Zuffa belt, insisting that Ryan Garcia is the rightful WBC World Champion and that remains the only title that truly matters.
Obviously, Zuffa has their plans, and like I said, they're the Trojan horse. They have their plans, and they have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. They're undecided until they get their way. Are they going to work with the WBC? I don't know, but Ryan Garcia is the WBC World Champion. That's the belt that matters. That's the belt that counts. And they're saying World Title Championship fight because they're trying to deceive the public. They want to insert their Unicorn Zuffa belt. That's all it is. So the bottom line is it's a WBC World Title.
Sanchez describes the matchup as an interesting 50-50 fight. He notes that Ryan Garcia has shown both great skill against Barrios and inconsistent performances against Rolly, making it hard to predict which version will show up. He also expresses concern about Benn moving down in weight and hopes it doesn't weaken him. Ultimately, he predicts a late knockout.
Two guys that have been talking a lot, I guess. Ryan has just had a great fight with Barrios. He looked very good, but then he didn't look so good against Rolly. So it depends on which Garcia shows up. I think Benn coming down, hopefully he's doing it correctly. It doesn't weaken him. I look for a late knockout actually in this fight. Either way, I'm not picking one guy or the other because if the right Conor Benn shows up weight-wise, then he could be too strong for Garcia. But if Garcia cracks him, he can hit. So it's a 50-50.
Abel Sanchez defends Ryan Garcia against claims that he might be a quitter. He argues that it is unfair to question the heart of anyone who steps through the ropes to fight. He emphasizes that anyone who steps through the ropes displays immense courage and heart, often noting that critics have never experienced the reality of the ring themselves.
To the ropes, anybody that steps through the ropes has got huge heart and big balls. So no, I think it's unfair to anybody to question anybody that steps through the ropes. Most of the people that are questioning that have never done it. So I'm sure Conor understands that Garcia's got all the tools. He had a great amateur career in the U.S., so he can fight. But so can Conor.
Tim Bradley and Max Kellerman debate the finish. They agree the fight likely won't go the distance, with Bradley pointing to Benn's relentless pressure and Garcia's explosive, yet potentially vulnerable, style as the key factors that could decide the night.
Watching them interact, I like Conor Benn's chances better than before they interacted. Ryan said this is not going the distance. Do you believe him?
I believe it's not going the distance. I think somebody's going to get knocked out. I think both their styles, when you match them up, like I told you early on, you got Benn who can punch, right? And anybody that can punch always tends to put Ryan on the defense, right? We haven't seen that scary shell. Remember, Barrios couldn't punch like that, when he turns his back like this and going that scary
Luke Campbell
shell.
dropped him too.
Luke Campbell dropped him. But I feel like
Luke Campbell, Olympic gold medalist, by the way.
Yes.
I feel like Benn has a chance because he has a right hand, good right hand, a strong right hand. I think the pressure that he puts on
the pressure on. He has an engine.
He keeps going, and you see the will that he has.
Connor's mental is strong. Yeah,
he's mentally strong. However, look, if he gets past that left hook, he got to get past that left hook, man. And one more thing.
Oscar de la Hoya criticized Dana White and Zuffa Boxing, calling them a Trojan horse in boxing. He questioned their intentions and accused them of being unclear about working with other promoters and organizations.
Just trust me, watch out, because they are the Trojan horse, and the rest is history from there. But I really do feel that Zuffa, what they're doing is they're wishy-washy, going back and forth. Oh, we're gonna work with the organizations. Oh, we're not. We're gonna work with other promoters. Oh, we're not. Make up your mind. I don't know what you're doing. I mean, you put on an event yesterday, which I saw on Paramount, which, by the way, Paramount has to be really angry at what they're doing and their ratings, because the shows they're putting on, like Berlanga with this journeyman, who, by the way, was a great fighter 8 years ago. And so it's like, I don't know what I'm watching. They're promising me one thing, and I'm watching another. So just make up your mind what you're doing.
Eddie Hearn said boxing is a business where trust is limited and promoters must stay cautious. He compared today's challenges with Zuffa boxing and Turkey Alshik to the rivalries he once had with Frank Warren.
It's just boxing. So we don't like, one thing you have to understand about boxing is if you start just presuming that everybody is going to work ethically and with a good heart, you're going to be deeply disappointed very quickly. So you have to sleep with one eye open. And I've been sleeping with one eye open for 20 years, nearly. Especially when I was up against Frank Warren. And, now again with these boys, when these, don't want to sound facetious, but these boys are easy work compared to Frank Warren, like as in, not necessarily within the power, but like just the way they move. Do you know what I mean? And like, yeah. So, but that's part of the fun, Oscar. That's part of the game. Like, and Turkey's pretty open about it. That's why I say I never really like, if something suits Turkey, he's going to do it. If it doesn't, he might do something that might indirectly fuck you. He's not out there trying to fuck everybody, but sometimes, obviously, he owns Zuffa